Now joining us for this segment is former Saints fullback and Saints legend Zach Line. Played for the Saints 2017 through 2019. Zach, I got to notice about that 2017 season. Saints went to London and you joined the team the game after they went to London. But that team was in the middle of, had won 2 straight. They ended up winning 8 straight. You missed the first 2 of those, but was there something that you noticed about this team?
Yeah, what was awesome about joining the Saints was just the locker room, man. You can't beat a culture like the one I had in New Orleans. I was coming from Minnesota. I was coming off hip surgery. I was with the Saints in training camp, so I got to know those guys pretty well. But I was blessed to join that team because it brought back my love of football. And there was no real surprise why they won games when you had the locker room that they did.
You know, when you're released early after training camp and then they re-sign you, what was that feeling like to rejoin the team?
I thought the Saints did a good job of kind of staying in communication. I thought I did a good job in training camp. My first day was joint practice with the Texans, so no better team to come out against than a heavy defense like the Houston Texans had. But I thought I did well. I played physical. I knew what Sean was looking for in a fullback, so there was communication going on. So I just kept training, and I knew my opportunity would come.
Now, fullbacks don't get a lot of touches in the NFL, so you end up with 6 career touchdowns, but 3 of them receiving with the Saints. So, did these guys, should they have been splitting you out wide, using those hands?
No, absolutely not. We would do it from here and there to get base personnel on the field. I'd be out wide, but more times than not, I was a decoy, and I was okay with it because I knew we had talent and Michael Thomas and Ted Ginn and all those guys around me. Obviously, Alvin Kamara, one of those guys, but I was okay being a decoy. The further I went in my career, the more I enjoyed lead blocking and not getting the ball. So that's the thing.
Now, Saints were in London trying to break a 2-game losing streak. What have you noticed about the team so far this season? Because the offense hasn't quite found the rhythm that they've been looking for.
Yeah, I think they have a great staff, and they still have a lot of the same pieces that they had when I was there. They just got to keep grinding, right, and just keep improving that locker room culture and staying together. The one major stat that sticks out to me is turnovers. I think one game was 5, last game was 3. So, those are things you're not taking care of the football the way we always have. I know when we made those 3 big runs at the end of the year, we were plus in the plus-minus category. So that was something that we prided ourselves on. Running backs hold on to football, and obviously defense taking it away. So
now you mentioned the defense. The defense has had back-to-back pretty good games. Hadn't had anything to show for it in the win column, but they've had back-to-back pretty good games. What have you noticed about that unit that has made them kind of a lot more effective than they were week 1?
Dennis Allen defense is always impressive. Probably the hardest defense we go against all year was during training camp when I was with the Saints, because you'd have their base defense first couple of days where it was kind of Manila, and then all of a sudden they would turn on the Jets and bring in linebackers and safeties and corners from all over the place. So I've always been really impressed by the way Dennis Allen can put together a defensive game plan. And I always loved the competition between Sean and Dennis. It was quiet, but it wasn't at the same time, right? So Dennis did a great job, and Pete Carmichael's a phenomenal offensive coordinator. So those guys will figure it out.
Well, Zach, we appreciate you joining us so much for this legend segment. Much success for you and the Saints, hopefully over in London this weekend.
For sure. Thank you for having me on.